Hello, and welcome to this month's Coach's Call with Steve Cohen here at American Judo. I hope you're having a great weekend. Today, I have something I want to talk about, a topic that's been crossing my plate lately. And if any of you follow me on Facebook, or if you don't, you can go take a look at my page. I did a post today about judo clubs and my thoughts about them. And what I'd like to do also before I start talking about it is for those of you that are here, those of you, and I always get texts from people that follow my calls, but I never know that they do. I have no idea who's on. I can't tell. The numbers vary all the time, so I'm kind of lost with who watches. But I'm looking to put together a Zoom call to have an open forum with all judo teachers, coaches, people starting programs. I work with quite a few people that are starting programs, helping them start their program, and people that have long time programs that are trying to put it together and deal with the situations of having beginners and having advanced kids. And some kids want to compete, and some kids don't want to compete. How do you keep it all together? And in my long years in judo, I've probably come across every situation that's possible. So I have a lot of experience, and I'm looking to share it. So I'm looking to put together an open forum Zoom call, not where you can text me questions, so we can actually communicate. Any of you who are interested, I'm not going to do it for 3 people, but if we get at least 10 people that are interested, send me an email. You see Steve at AmericanJudo.com. Send me an email that you're interested and give me your email address, and I will email you the link. We'll pick a time on a weekend just like this, and we'll get on a forum, and we all can talk, and we can learn from each other, and I can help out where I can. But I think that with all due respect to all the organizations in judo, I don't see any effort to help out the grassroots judo clubs. People write curriculums, but curriculums don't matter, because judo is not like math in this matter, that it's real simple that when you put together math problems, either it's right or it's wrong. Judo, there's so many variables, and you need to know, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Is it time to move on? Is it not? Did the student do as much as he could at this time? Everybody advances in judo at a different rate. So it's good to talk about it. You may feel you're struggling with something, and I can tell you, no, that's normal. And you could feel that you're going really fast with someone. I could say, no, slow down. It's not important. So it's my goal to help all the not only the young coaches, the new coaches, the coaches that have beginners, help you with the idea of how to work on developing fundamentals, what to look for, what's important, and how to build your judo club. Well, if you have 5 kids, how do we make it 10? If you have 10, how do you make it 20? If you have a for-profit club, what's the best way to have a for-profit club? There's other options too. Do you have a senior program that is a non-combative senior program? There's so many seniors doing jiu-jitsu because they don't get hurt. In judo, you have a senior program, you have an inexperienced, 2 inexperienced people. One is throwing with inexperience, and the other is falling with inexperience, and the chance for injury is great. How do you avoid that? Well, you have a program where they don't fall on the hard mat, where they can have a great workout, enjoy the camaraderie, learn judo, but you're not doing randori. And you're throwing on crash pads. And there's all different ways to do it, where you can get the same numbers and have far more fun doing judo with adults as they do in jiu-jitsu. Obviously, I'm a judo fanatic. I believe judo is much more fun than jiu-jitsu. The people that do jiu-jitsu don't get hurt. They roll on the ground. What do you do with a small mat? In a small mat, you can get 30 jiu-jitsu players on. Doing randori, that same mat size, you have 5 pairs. It's just a different world. How do you make that work? How can you still have a great judo program for adults that can thrive, and people can come in there that aren't great athletes, that aren't going to necessarily excel in judo, but get to enjoy the judo workout and the camaraderie and the culture of judo? That again, I'm not a BJJ guy. I don't know what culture they have, but I do understand the culture of judo. And the culture of judo is what makes judo great. So you can have all that without people getting hurt. And I think that you can grow judo that way. And I think it's something that we're missing, we're not doing. Why would a 45-year-old doctor come in and risk getting his shoulder separated, in a judo class when he could lay on the ground and roll around in jujitsu? Well, that same doctor can come do judo and get all the feel of moving a chikomi, throwing on a crash pad, working on your kazushi, moving around the mat, learning newaza, where there's no injuries and they're getting that great workout from judo. I think it's a great thing, and I think it's something that needs to be incorporated in our judo program around the country. The other thing I believe is that today the successful judo clubs that are for profit are starting kids at 3 years old. Because if you want to have a for-profit club, if you start kids at 11 and 12, 10, 11 and 12, they're 1 year from wrestling. Okay? We can't compete with the peer acceptance kids get in school in a judo club. It just doesn't work that way. Wrestling in the United States is also a huge sport. You go to a weekend tournament, there's 500 people, it's $30 to enter. People going to Texas next week, it's like $130. You fight two divisions, it's $260. I'm not blaming them for charging the money, but I mean, you want to bring your family, fly, stay in a hotel, eat, and if you have two kids, you're spending over $500 in entry fees. It's difficult. It's challenging, So what do you do with new members of the club? And chances are you have a kid that goes out there and makes a mistake and gets a Hanso Kumaki, the match is over. Out of the tournament. So there are challenges we have in judo. We got to find a way to avoid those challenges. When we started our American judo tournaments, we made it clear that we weren't going to penalize kids. We weren't going to have coaches screaming at referees. If there was a problem in a match, we did a do-over. Make judo fun for the kids. Let them have a chance. The parents get something out of it. They get to watch their kids fight. There's lots of things we could do to make judo better. If you have a group, you could have in-club tournaments, invite some people. One of the things we don't do, which I used to do, is we don't network with other clubs enough. If you're going to have an in-club tournament, let's say you have 20 students and you have room for a mat or two. You invite some other clubs and you have, an in-club tournament, maybe you have 50 people there. You charge $20, you find some cheap medals, you give them to everybody, everyone gets a medal or something, they got to fight. The matches are not decided by scores, or decided at the end of a time. So if they're 5-year-olds fighting, someone grabs and throws someone on their back, the match isn't over. You have a 2-minute match. Let them fight for 2 minutes. And if someone gets 5 ippons, if someone's over, if they're mismatched, you stop it and you find a better match. You have total control of making judo fun for your students there. Okay, and you could do it with your club, and you could do it within your community. But we have to network together. We have to work together to do that. When my brother and I ran our club, and we had a big club and competitive club, but we networked with Indiana, with Ohio, with Kentucky, with Wisconsin, constantly networking, and we worked together. Whether it was someone, when we ran our big tournament, all the states came and ran tables for us. And how did we pay them back? Erwin and I would go and do a clinic for them. We wouldn't charge them. We drive there, we do a 2-day clinic. We would help them out. They would help us out. We would work together. They'd send their kids to our school. We would help develop them. But it's a community that we work together. And we can't grow judo if we don't work together. I mean, it's fun to watch our best athletes, right? That, go out there and fight, and we wish them the best. And we got some good young athletes. But I'm going around looking at clubs that have juniors. They have young kids. They're trying to build judo clubs, and there's no support for that. No support for that. So at American Judo, with me, what I'm going to try to do is, and if I get a response, I'm happy to do it, put together some Zoom calls where we can have an open forum. And what do? what do we do? I'm in a BJJ club. I only have so much time to do judo. What do I do? How do I find a way to get my own club? How do I build my club? I have a club. How do I make it bigger? There's all sorts of different ways we can do that. But when you're sitting there all on your own trying to figure it out, it's hard. It would be nice to have an organization to support you. But what I'm telling you, that if you're interested, because I could go to bed with my knowledge and that's fine. That's not what I want. I have over 60 years of experience in judo. For me to hold that in does nothing for me. What I want to do is I want to pass it on. And if you guys are interested, I'm happy to do that. So again, send me an email at steve@americanjudo.com. You can ask your other friends in judo if they're interested. You can ask your parents. You want to get on a call, have an open forum. We can do that, and we can discuss how to make your judo club better, how to make your judo community better, how to build your judo community, how to deal with a situation. Situations are hard in judo. You have different parents, different kids, different levels. There's all different situations that you have to deal with, and it's hard. It's hard. So getting a little help, a little support, I think would go a long way. So that's what I'd like to do. Anyone who's interested, send me an email. If you have friends that in judo are interested, have them send me an email. And if I can get at least 10, maybe I get 30. If I get 10, and there's an interest, we'll put together a Zoom call. And if it works, we could do it every month. And we'll continue to talk, and we'll discuss all aspects of your judo club or beginning judo clubs in general. Okay, I've spoken my piece. Go to my website, go to my Facebook page. You'll see my post on how my history in judo, back from when I was 5 years old, what the judo club meant for me and what it did for me and stuff. And there's some old pictures there, because I started back started at a YMCA and then went to a Buddhist temple. So the culture I grew up with was strong, and I thought it was good and it was important. And I think it's sadly missing in some cases, but other people do it differently and they have success. So whatever works for you is fine with me. Okay, now let's talk about judo. So I'm forever interested in young judo. Again, today we have access. There's so much judo. In the United States, it's small. In Europe, in Asia, it's huge. And there's so many great competitions of young athletes. God, you go to a European club and you see a kid 9, 10, and 11. They're not even competing. They're just learning judo. They're playing judo. They're not competing much. They're just learning judo. We send our 9 to 10-year-olds there. We're going to beat them. We're going to beat them good because they haven't even started. And they start, and same thing in Japan. They start developing them. They learn the culture. They learn they learn to enjoy the judo, get used to the club atmosphere. Be a part of a social atmosphere that you enjoy, and then slowly they start developing you. You go to a cadet camp in Europe, you could have 1,500 kids there. You could have 1,000 girls there. My God, I coach girls. I can't find 8 girls to get to a camp. So I think that it's interesting how they do it, and you could see how they develop, and you watch them as they develop from they go to cadet to junior to senior, and it's quite interesting to watch how they develop and how they get better. So I've been watching. There's been a lot of good junior competitions lately with the cadet worlds and the junior worlds and the U23 Europeans. And what I notice, I notice a few things. Still, basic fundamental judo is what works. Using your ashiwa, setting up your throws. Sanagi, Uchimata, Osoto, Ouchigari, those basic throws, when done correctly, they work. And if you know how to set it up, if you continue to work your feet and set it up, good morning. When you continue to set your judo up by using your feet, you can learn the feel as people change their balance, right? Someone was off balance, their weight's on their right foot more than they move back to their left foot. Those are all balance and differences that when people are doing it, that allow you to open up to throw. And it's hard to see. you need to learn how to feel it. You need to be able to feel your opponent's weight distribution so you know when they're in a situation where they're leaning forward, they're leaning backward, they're regaining their balance. All those situations you need to be aware of so you can take advantage of that situation. And the way most people do it is with Ashiwaza. And they set it up with their foot sweep, whether it's Kochi, Ochi, but usually an Ashibarai that you do that. And you get to see how when someone is off balance for that split second, that opportunity to make an attack is there. And it's continued to be used. I continue to watch it. And it's like it never changes. It's the basics of judo. It's the basic of fundamental judo. Use your feet. Use your feet. The greatest judo players have great feet. It's just the way it is. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with a couple videos. If you'll give me a second to do this, let's just start. We'll just start with a straight ashi, which I love. And again, for those of you guys that have followed me, Rick, you're late. Okay. I just talked all about things you wanted to hear, Rick. You'll have to play it over. I'm glad you joined. Rick, go to my Facebook page and look at my post when you get a chance. It's some of the things we were talking about, and we could talk further. So, when you learn how to do ashi barai, di-ashi, kokuri, you learn to take a step if you're going to do with your right foot, step with your left foot, and then you shift the weight and you sweep from the hip. That's how you practice the throw, right and left side. Turn your foot and you sweep. And then you practice it over and over and over again. And then you eventually develop a feel. And as you start hitting the foot and you're hitting a brick wall. And you're hitting a brick wall. Slowly you start to move the foot, and then you get the feel. Now, the other feel is that how do we guide our opponent? There's ways to force your opponent into a movement, and there's ways to guide them. And we need to learn both ways of doing it. So as we watch, I'll just play this first, and then I'll go over it a little bit. So we're just watching, we'll set another one. We'll see this one more time. Watch it. Nice. So I want to go over this slowly. Let's go back here. So watch how blue lets white step and look how far in front she is. This is the perfect spot to hit the foot on the ashi. Look at the shift of weight. Can you see that shift of weight? Look at that. Look at the hip. Down. That's just beautiful. Now watch how she guides her. Watch how she lets her step. Look at that. She lets her step in front, and she just powers on that right foot and flows with that left foot down. That's just, just classic, ashi. It's just, I love seeing that. And those things are, you find the opening in the match. You find the opening. And you do that by using your feet all the time, So while we're practicing our ashi, we let our opponents, our students know, listen, at least 5 times in a randori session, use your feet. You can do other things too. You could say, okay, we're going to do a drill. We're just going to move. We're just going to be moving around. Someone's going to be offensive. Let's see this here. I'm sorry. Okay. Someone's going to be offensive. The other person's going to be defensive. Okay. Just move around. Someone's going to make the attacks. When I say defensive, they're not going to attack. One person does the attacking, and you move your opponent. Get a feel for using your feet. It's a good drill to do. It's a good way for both, uki and tori, to do that. So here we have a situation, and we'll run through this, and then I'll go through it slowly. Here we go. Foot sweep, attack. And look at this drive. It's a beautiful drive. Just a beautiful throw as we hit the foot sweep. So I'm going to break this down so you can see this, okay? See, people that let's see if I can move this out of the way here. Okay. So people that are good in judo are hard to throw. They're hard to throw. These players at this level are great athletes. They don't go on their back so easy. But what I want you to watch here, so we're going to here, so watch what happens. Foot sweep. So look at the opening. Look how the legs open. Look where he's at before. Look, Sayanagi's not open here. He's in a strong right position. This knee is going to stop the Morote. It's going to stop it. Look what happens with the foot sweep. Now look at the end. Look where he is when he enters now. This right foot's back, left foot forward. Now he's got the opening to do it. Even still, watch his feet drive. Watch him drive. Watch. So let's go back and watch his. Gets the foot up. Starts driving. Continues to drive. Toes are active. He's driving and driving and driving all the way to his back. I mean, that's just a great technique. Look how he opens up his opponent. Ashi, open it up. There it is. Set up. It's over. Nice. And these guys from Azerbaijan are just great. They're great judo players. They're just great judo players. Enjoy watching them. I mean, they do great judo. They're hard to throw. And again, the Italians are playing great judo now. Not now. They always did. I'm not saying now, but they seem right now in Italy to be having a lot of great athletes, male and female. Really good judo. Now, when I tell my friend Jason Morrissey, Italy's always good. Yeah, I know that. I know they're always good, but it seems like something's happening. I don't know who coaches them, and slips my mind, but as a whole, the Italian team is better. They're better. They're really good. Really good. So their judo is good. So here we are again watching this setup with Ashi. We'll watch it first, and then I'll go over it with you. Foot sweep. Ashi, turn. So watch again. I mean, they're both using their feet, but watch the change of situation here. Hits the foot sweep, off balances him. He's got to recover. So it may be hard to see, but watch what happens when he off balances him here. You see how he's off balance? This foot's down, this foot's up. Look at him have to recover. Can you see my slow motion? He's got to switch. His weight's all on his right. Now he's got to recover. As he's recovering, right? It's like an ashiguruma. It's an ashiguruma. Could have been harai, could have been whatever. But look at that switch. Look how off balance here. And now he recovers to the other side, and he catches him just right. And you develop that by practicing it, working off your foot sweeps all the time. We'll watch this one more time. You know, you got to use your feet when you fight. You got to use your feet. Ashi, off balance, come back. Beautiful. Beautiful. New crop of Georgians have great traditional judo. Yeah, you know, I'll tell you what, Rick. I in 1980. We'll go here to rotate. I'm sorry. 1986. I went to the Soviet Union, and I watched their players. And at that time, there were Russians, Georgians, Belarus. It was all together in one. And they all had great traditional judo. Now they could lift you. They have this sambo background and everything, and again, the Georgians bear hug you. And again, if you go back and watch like the 70, if you could watch videos of the 72 and 76 Olympics, you could see, let's see, 76, yep, even 88, all the way up. You could see who the Georgians were on the Soviet team. You could watch the way they played. And I'll give out names, and Rick, you should know these names. Chochashvili, he was Georgian. Onashvili was Georgian. Who was the other guy? Kuznetsov. I don't know if these guys were just monsters. They were monsters. Now, understand that they were on a different vitamin program than most, certainly different than me, but God, these guys were monsters, and they could lift you, grab you from anywhere. Georgians are great judo players. They're getting better. They're getting better without a doubt. But again, Azerbaijan is too. I mean, they're so good. Kosovo. Judo in all of Europe is getting better. It's just getting better all over. The French are great. It's getting better all over. So yeah, that's a good point. And it's fun to watch. But I'm telling you, Rick, watch the young kids, watch the cadets, see the people that are developing. I did this with my students a while ago with Daria Biladid, and I went to her cadet world videos and watched that, then watched her in the junior worlds and watched her in the senior worlds. While she won all three worlds, we're able to watch her develop as she grew, into being a better judo player. And you saw her raw talent as a cadet, and then it was fine-tuned as a junior, and as a senior, it was just outstanding. It was unbelievable. It's fun to watch that, and it's good. And if you're really a judo kind of fanatic like I am, I love seeing that. And you can watch guys like Haydarov, who's the world Olympic champion. He just came back and won a last Grand Slam, and watch him develop over the years, and from being a little bit tight and anxious player to being calm as can be. So confident, so calm. Haydarov's a great judo player. Fun to watch. There's lots of good players to do that with. Let's see what I have here. So here we are, guys. We got Italy here again. Let's see if I can get this out of the way here. Let's watch this Sayanagi here. So as we watch this, it's just, beautiful finish, turn. But what is so... So we look at this. This is what I call the engagement. You're getting your grip, right? You've got to find the grip. It's always been hard to get the good grip. There were better grip fighters than others and all that, but it's hard today. Judo is opened all over. I don't care where you're at. You could train in Japan. You could train in Europe. Go to Spain anytime you want and train. Teams are there. It's really, really, judo is so open to train with the best players. So, I mean, finding the advantage in the engagement is difficult. But here we've got this Italian guy who does something really nice. So he's finding a place for his right hand. He's being avoided to get the grip, classic grip on the lapel. So he comes, as he enters, look, he brings his right hand directly to the cross. As he's entering, look at this. As he's entering, he's grabbing the cross lapel grip, and there he is. Look, he's got the cross lapel grip. He's down and up. Look at that. Look how nice that throw is. Let me go back, and I want to show you a few things here. So as he comes in, look how his back is straight here. Look. He's letting his opponent, look how he lets his opponent come over him. For you guys that teach drop Sayanagi, watch this. He lets his opponent come over him. He's not lifting him here. He's not lifting here. He's letting the throw develop, and now he's lifting. He's lifting at the lower part of the body, not the upper part. And he's turning, rotating. God, that's just a nice move. You can watch that again. Nice Seoinage. Love it off the grip. Watch how he enters and grabs at the same time. I'm telling you, it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. Nice Seoinage. Nice technique. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, it sure was. It sure was. Oh, here's another one I'll show you. So, I mean, I always liked playing from a cross grip if I could. When I fought as a heavyweight, I found it almost absolutely necessary because moving the incredibly large opponents was difficult sometimes. A cross grip gave me a little more leverage in throwing them because I used no soto most of the time. But before I go on to the next, I'll tell you something interesting. And so over a couple weekends ago, I was watching some judo videos, and I turned on the 87 World Championships. And I watched all the divisions, not every match, but the highlight matches, but the whole matches, not just the highlight throws, the whole matches. And I found something interesting that I completely forgot. At that time, there was no golden score. And I think golden score is great. I love it. It takes the referee out of the decision for the most part. Obviously, we see penalties that shouldn't be given and inconsistencies, and we can discuss that and be mad about that. But I guess in all sports, they complain about the officiating. But what I did see is the action, because everyone's fighting for that little bit of an edge in a judge's decision. So, my God, the activity was so much greater. I couldn't believe it. The heavyweights were moving. There was no slow heavyweights. All the heavyweights, were moving and attacking. Everyone's looking for that little edge, and so many matches came to that split decision, that close decision. It was interesting, the different in the judo. I think the golden score, again, I think it's better because I've seen so many. I've been around a long time, and referee. I want the decision of the match to be up to the players as much as possible, if not 100%. We've seen it in the Olympics. I guess we see it in the Super Bowl too, in the World Series. We see it where the decisions made are questionable. I don't want questionable decisions. We could say that's sport. But, man, you train your whole life. You're in a medal match at the Olympics, and a referee makes a bad call, a wrong call, and you're stuck with it. That's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow as a fan, let alone an athlete. But I'm just telling you, it was interesting to watch the action. There was constant action, because they were all vying for that, And again, the Shido decided to match then too. So if you got one Shido and you were by far the aggressor, and you knocked your opponent down, but you didn't get a score 5 times, if you had one Shido against you, the Shido won. Yeah, Stevens and Bischoff. Ricky, you're a good fan of judo. You're a good fan of judo. I love it. I love it. But I got to tell you, I could name some matches from the past. Hikagi and Omegan, East German and Japan. Phenomenal match. You could watch the match in '87 of Yuri Sokolov and Yamamoto. What a great, great match. Phenomenal match. Watch Swain fighting Alexander. Tons of great matches. Yeah, Shido was a Koka, correct. But in the 70s, a Shido and a Koka, the Shido took precedence. My brother fought world champion Rouget, who was a great, great judo player. A 10-minute match. My brother threw him for a Koka, but he had a Shido against him. He lost the match after 10 minutes. You would think the score would take precedence, and it was a great match. But there's lots of great matches, Rick. Lots of great fun matches to watch that go back and forth. Uh, so it's again a different scoring system, but part of it was really good. Part of it was really good. And listen, when I grew up with a 5-point system. So it forced you to win by opponent if you wanted to win the tournament. And my God, the judo was beautiful in juniors. There was no one's dropping on their knees. No one's winning by shido, standing up throws. I mean, I had guys I fought when I was 15, 14, 15. They had great sasais, great uchimatas. I mean, good. That's how judo was played back in the 70s. That's how junior judo grew, with good, solid judo. And I'm not making criticisms of anything today, but there was something about that then that made it good. Yep. So, Rick, it's good, and it's good to watch. If you go, I think it's Judo Inside. Watch a couple matches if you guys want to go there and look at some of the past world matches. And again, if you can, look at the 66 kilos. What was it then? 65 kilos then? You can watch there the Sokolov and Yamamoto and 87. I think it was Hikagi and Omegan. He changed his name, but it's 81 kilos. Just great judo matches, and you see the turn of the tide, and it just was it's pretty good to watch. For you guys that are fans, go ahead and watch those matches. They're phenomenal. Let's see what I have here now. Here. So as I tell you, I'm a fan of certain throws. I'm a fan of all judo. When I see something good, I'm a fan of it. I love Osotogari. I love Osotogari when it's done right. For you guys that get to watch the Olympic champion Mirai, lefty, does great Osoto. I haven't seen this before. This is just, cross grip Osoto. Watch how the leg gets captured, the extension of the leg. Japanese players back in the 70s, when I first started seeing international judo, were freaking amazing at the leg extension, just the incredible extension of the leg to capture their opponent's leg. So we'll see this, and I really like this. Look at this deep. Look at that. Boy, is that a great capture of the leg. Nice throw. Nice technique. Watch this. Look at this. Bang. Look at that. Wow. God, I love that. Okay. Do I say Italy again? I guess so. I didn't purposely go find the Italians, but it just so happened they came to me. Let's watch this one more time. Slowly. He gets the cross grip. Comes to the sleeve. Now watch what he does. Now, this is a different type of Osoto. He's not, and this is a Japanese style Osoto. He's going to really explode off of his left leg. He's going to bang it down and explode his body forward and hook. Look at that explosion. Look at that explosion. Explode and look. Let's see if I can get this. God, if I can, let me go back. Look at that extension with his leg. Look at his toe pointed. Look at him capture the leg all the way in his knee pit. Look at this. Now he keeps this hand in front. Look how he keeps that hand in front here. Look at that. Over. So it's interesting. When I teach Osoto, when I teach Ouchi, I always talk about capturing the leg. You have to capture the leg. And it takes time to get the feel for that. But you have to capture the leg. Let's go back and watch this again twice. He does this so good. Just beautiful Osotogari. Beautiful Osotogari. For those of you that have been around and watched Yamashita play, he had a great Osoto. Look at that. Nice. And as I said, moving big people is easier from the cross grip. Certainly I found it that way. But that's the way it was. What a just beautiful Osotogari. again, I tell people all the time that, when you teach judo, let me see, get another, God, I got so many morotes here. Uh, what do I want to show you next? Let me see. God, I have a lot of, oh, let me do this one for my friend if Steven's on here. I don't know if you are, Steven, but I'll do that for you. So understand that the idea of teaching judo is the same thing as building a foundation if you're building an apartment building. The foundation's the same. You've got to hold that weight of the building, so you build the foundation. And I did this with my students. I showed them the process of 6 months when they're building a major skyscraper, of all the equipment and the digging and then everything that goes with building the foundation, for a building. And after all those trucks and diggers and all the things, and they moved them all out and the ground was flat. What's there? It looks like nothing's there, but not nothing's there. There's the foundation. And the architect comes in and he builds the building he wants to build. So when I teach judo, you teach fundamentals. Anything and everything is open. You make it your own. You make it to fit your body type. You make it to fit your weight division. But I'm not teaching Diashi Barai. I'm not teaching Uchima. I'm teaching it all the same in the beginning. The fundamentals. It's all fundamental. And then from that fundamental, they make it their own. And you could take any Uchimata that you find that's successful. Whoever's doing Uchimata, I could point out the fundamentals in that makes that throw work. They enter differently, they fit differently. At the end of the day, you're going to see that same fundamental. and that's so we don't worry about teaching Mariyama's Uchimata or a Nomura Seyanagi. We teach basic fundamental techniques so you could learn the fundamentals, and then we could start saying, okay, what's going to work for you? I've got more flexibility in my shoulder, more flexibility in my hips. My arms are short, my arms are long. All those things go, and they're all variables. I'm a lefty. It makes a difference. It makes a difference if you're a lefty. You're fighting 95% righties, maybe more. You have an advantage. So all those things are variables that come into teaching judo that you need to know, but it's all the same fundamentally. So for my curriculum, it's all fundamental. It's all the same. You're all learning it just like we're learning math. All the same. And that's what I'm doing. And at some point, you're going to make it your own. But we learn all the same. And it takes years. It takes years. And I'm happy to talk about it more, but join me on that Zoom call if you're interested. And we can discuss that even more. We can go over, curriculums and how we move forward and when we move forward and all stuff like that. I'm happy to share that with you. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's just watch this, and then I'll break it down. We'll see this one more time. So Azerbaijan again. So here's what we're going to see. So we're right on left. Right on left. It's so critical for your posture. Look, posture right on left. Posture. It's important. Okay. We want to make sure that when we're right on left, our posture is strong. When someone crosses our body, they're hitting a brick wall. They're hitting a brick wall. So here we go, coming here, brick wall, turn back. Look how easy that was. Okay, that starts with the posture. We don't bend down right on left. We stand up. We stand up. Look at it again. Hits the throw, up straight, easy to turn. Let's watch that. Just watch that simple rotation of the body. Look at the rotation. Look Look at that. Look at the body turn. Look. Look how beautiful that is. Look at that rotation. You could practice that movement, when the kids are young. I mean, it's not this exact movement, but it's like the taisabaki of just moving your hips. Learn how to move your hips in judo. Learn how to move your hips. That's a nice technique. That's just a nice technique. Love watching that. Okay, guys, we're running low on time, and I apologize. I talk too much. Unless you like my blue reach the front leg instead of committing and driving. Yep. So I'll find one more video because we're running low on time. What did I want to show you? There's one ouchi that I really wanted to show you. Yeah, I want to show you this one for a reason. Okay, we'll go here and I'll show you. So I teach a lot of ouchi. And I don't know if my friend Stephen Fick is on this call or not, but I work with him and he is able to teach ouchi with my guidance, and does a phenomenal job. His kids are getting better and better and better. Finding that being able to teach from afar is working out better than I thought. It's not the answer, but it works well. So here we're looking at this, and we're going to watch this quickly, and then I'll go over it with you. So here is something that we have to learn. Okay, so let me show this here. So let's go to the next one because it's longer. Okay, so look. White is on his heels. He's on his heels. Blue is creating resistance, keeping him on his heels. If he lets up on the resistance, white stands up. This is another drill you can do. You can do this on a crash pad. Get the feel of keeping the resistance. He's leaning back. We're going to throw him back. Look how he is. Look how he's leaning back. Look how easy the ouchi is when his opponent is on his heels. Look how easy that was. Look again, keeping that resistance here. So he's still, look at his hips. He's still leaning back, keeping that resistance. He's still leaning back. Look how easy the ouchi is. So these are, I mean, I've got drills I could work with you on too to show you how to do that. Simple judo fundamentals, learning that how to do that. It's good stuff. It's good to learn, and it makes I do games. I have a pushing and pulling game. If you haven't seen my videos, that I do with kids, and they love doing it. And you get the feel of the resistance, And as you're teaching these fundamentals, we could do this with drills and games where the kids are having fun learning. Okay, we have to know how to do it, but we know how to do it. So as you're growing your students and getting them better, you're doing it with games and drills, and it's all fun for them, and they don't even realize they're developing good fundamental judo. And that's the key to starting as a young kid and teaching them fundamentals is having fun doing judo and still developing those fundamental skills. So that's something we want to we definitely want to try to bring to our program and work with it. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the call. And listen, if you don't mind, send me a note that you were on the call. I don't know who's on the call, so I'm stuck. I'm glad to talk to you. If you don't send me a chat, I don't know you're on the call. So you don't have to, but let me know what you thought. And if you have any ideas you want me to cover, that's fine. And if you want to get on a Zoom call, an open forum Zoom call, I will do that for you, and we can have a discussion. And again, when we share ideas, we all learn. I'm up for learning too. I could still learn. So I'm happy to do that. And like I said, if it goes, we could do it every month, and then we have an ability to get better, make our club better. And again, I offer more for clubs too, but with this said, we could try to have an open forum and just communicate, and again, build a network of judo clubs that we could help get each other better. It's just a thought of mine, and I'd love to do it. All right, guys, you have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining. And again, let's keep in touch.